All right, we are on the start line of a bike race. Yes, that's right, a bike race. We are in northeast Georgia, up near the South Carolina border. Beautiful green countryside. This is stage one of the Tour of North Georgia stage race. And this is the 40 and 50 Master 1, 2, 3 combined. So we are just getting underway here. I recorded like the first, I don't know, like 3-4 laps, I think. And then I skipped ahead to the end. So it's about 25 minutes total. So the way the course is, as you can see by the description above, it's a 4-corner, but it's a little lumpy. So this section right here that we're on right here is kind of a hill, and we are making a right turn at the top, and you'll see a line of cones, which people had trouble with every lap. I don't know why, but it was pretty narrow. And then we go down the hills here. This is a downhill stretch into a right turn, which goes up to the finish. So it goes downhill into a slight uphill. So you can really carry your momentum if you take the corner right. You can see the fencing on the left made a little sketchy. I started a little bit too far back. The guys in the front started drilling it right from the beginning, and a break of 4 rolled off. They weren't in my age group, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me. None of the 50 plus were off the front. Otherwise, we would have all been chasing. But I mean, it felt bad for my teammate John, who ended up flatting out in this race. There's people coming off the back already. Guys were just coming off right and left up this little hill here. So then you make this right-hand turn, and it kind of levels off a little bit, and then it goes back up a little bit. You can kind of see in the distance it kind of curves to the left and then goes uphill. But you do have a fair bit of momentum coming out of that turn 2 that gives you a little bit of a push. So it's not quite as difficult. And then again, with the cones, people would seem to have difficulty making that turn. It wasn't that hard. I never hit the cones once, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is. So this is a stage race. This is stage 1. Stage 2 is a circuit race, which is tomorrow or the next day. Got to close another gap here. See, I made a mistake of starting too far back. It was such a small field, I just didn't think of that be that big of a deal, but it kind of was. It affected the outcome of the race, actually. You got to stomp up this little hill right here. On a slow lap, we were doing it at 23. On fast laps, we were doing it at 26, 27. So stage 2 is, I believe, a 6-mile circuit race. It was very bumpy. There was a 11% grade on the backside. That was about a minute long. Then there was a 1.6 mile climb to the finish, which was about almost 2 kilometers, maybe a little bit more than 2 kilometers, and it's stair-stepped at grades of 9%. It was difficult. It was hard for me. I'm not a climber, so it definitely brought out my weaknesses. But the crit here, I did fine. I actually felt pretty good. Then stage 3 was a time trial, which was on the same course as the circuit race, but it went up to the finish from the opposite direction. And it was an out and back 7.6 mile out and back time trial with about 700 feet of climbing. I ended up getting 5th place in that. And there's my teammate Andrew. He did a little bit too much work, too hard on the front, and he ended up getting dropped. He jumped in with a group and finished, but he got dropped from the lead group. And my other teammate John, who was in the 40s, he flatted about mid-race, and his race was over because we didn't bring spare wheels because we're in Georgia, and they didn't have neutral wheels. Is that just me, or did that guy give somebody a little hand check there? Kind of looked like he did. I'll have to watch that later in the video. This start-finish line, so the wind was coming from our right, so we were all guttered up against that fence every lap, just single file ripping it. This corner right here gave people a lot of trouble. See, like this guy, he did okay, but he's off the back now. So there's a way to take the corner to where you don't lose any of your momentum. There goes John, my teammate. He's up with a flat tire, so I guess he didn't even make it halfway. 6 minutes in and his race is done. That sucks. Now Jamie Carney, a local legend in the area, is in the 50 plus with us. He just rolled off the front here, and he's a 50 plus, and that sent off alarm bells for us. So we've got to bring him back. So I'm kind of, no, he hasn't gone off yet. I apologize. The lead car is still in front of us. That's Jamie right in front of me, but he goes off the front in the next few laps or so, and we've got to bring him back. He's our biggest threat. People that live here see that he's in really good form, and these are his home roads, and he knows them like the back of his hand, and it definitely showed. I really liked the course. I really liked the entire race. It was a little bit hilly. I probably shouldn't have gotten dropped in the road race as fast as I did, but you know, things happen during the race. Get behind the wrong wheel, have to slow down at the wrong time, the field accelerates at the front, next thing you know you're chasing. That was the story of my race, but that's alright. I made up for it in the time trial and the crit. So since it's Omnium, it banks your points, and I banked enough points on those two events alone to get 9th place and get a top 10. My teammate Bart got 4th. Mark Tucker from Fresno, who came with us, also got 4th in the 40 plus, which is a pretty stacked field too. Some fast riders. I kind of figured out the course and where to go hard and where to go easy. I like to stay wide here, and then I like to cut this apex. See people going inside, and then they drift out, and this is terrible lines. I like to go outside, inside, and then drift outside, and then I don't lose any momentum. This is my favorite place to move up right here, because you kind of come off of a flat section and it speeds up, and then you have this momentum, and the guys in the front have a little bit of a slowdown, and then you just kind of cruise right up to the front like this. Florida Velo is the team in the yellow, not the yellow in front of me, but a different. But they had a fair amount of guys in the field. So every time one of their guys would get off in a break, it's a really good course to block on, because all you need to do is ride hard up to a corner and then just ease through it, and every lap your guys are going to get 2 or 3 seconds. And that's kind of what they were doing. I don't think anybody figured that out, but I think I noticed that Jamie was off the front here, and so I go right off, yeah, so I go to the front to kind of peg him back. So I take a little digger here, kind of string it out. Peg back this guy. I think he got dropped from the break up front, because there's a group of 40 plus guys that are off the front, and nobody here has any motivation to chase. So I thought maybe Jamie was going to go across to him, so I wanted to go with him. Definitely didn't want to let him go. So now, as I come across the start-finish line here, I noticed that they rang the bell for a points premium. So after putting in that huge effort, all of a sudden there's a points premium, which counts for the Omnium, and I was kind of bummed because I wanted to go there. So I kind of swing wide here so I can take this corner, and then these guys all chop inside of me here. They almost take out my front wheels, so I had to brake check a little bit right there. And then these guys are all going for the points premium, and so I'm trying to stay with them. I'm a little bit in the red zone here, and then this guy, I just got chopped right there. Some guy just shoulder checked me. That's why I swung way wide right there. But no harm done. I didn't go down, so I just moved back up here. These guys are getting ready to sprint. There goes an attack up the right side there. So these guys are going for a 3-place Omnium points premium, which is 5, 3, and 1 point. And there I just chopped ahead. So I think I just chopped ahead to the last 15 minutes of the race. There's my teammate Bart. He's on good form. He came in here. He has a much better chance than I do to win the overall. So our plan was for me to do a lead out for him going into the last lap so that he could get the max amount of points, and hopefully we can go 1-2, because the course was built enough to where if you go hard from the base of that hill going out of turn 2 to 3, you can hold your momentum down that hill and then up into this finishing stretch here. We were hoping we could go 1-2, or at least 1-2-3. Help out a couple of the 40 guys that were with us. So Andrew's off the back, so he doesn't really count. So at this point, we're getting down to the lap cards, and the pace has been pretty consistently high. That's the Florida Velo team. There's a guy on their team named Pablo Santa Cruz. He's the one that kind of told us about this race and invited us out. He's a good guy. He's from, I want to say he's from southwest Florida, near Tampa. But they do a lot of these southeast state races: Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina. I never was a fan of those metal fences. Just the chances of hitting them and getting bad injury just seem like they're really high. So here's how I like to take this turn. I just take it from the outside, cut the apex, and then just keep my momentum and just roll right up. I tried to do that as often as I could, depending on where people were on either side of me, but that was definitely the best line. And I was able to hold my momentum and just move right up to the front. Yeah, we're moving now. Oh yeah, there's a little split in the field, so I'm just going to take the inside line here and just roll right back up. There's Bart right up in the front where he should be. I need to stay up near him. Quit drifting back so far. This is where I wanted to do the lead out right here, straight up this stretch into this last turn. These last two turns. Take this turn fairly fast and safe, and then just drill it down to the last corner. Oh, Bart got bumped. That guy, you can see the guy in front of him was apologizing. He didn't miss the turn, he got bumped out. He's like, ah, no big deal. No harm done. At least it wasn't into the fence. It's starting to feel pretty good right here. Okay, now we got a points preem. So I think that means there's 6 laps to go right here. So they ran a points preem. This is the last one. At this point, I'm thinking I don't really want to go for it because it's 40 points for the win and it's 5 points for a points preem. So I was feeling pretty good. I didn't want to blow my chances on a points preem. And Jamie Carney and one other rider from Florida Velo are off the front. And they've been off the front for a few laps now. We can see them up ahead of us, so we're not really panicking yet. If they were out of sight, out of mind, then it would have been a little bit different story. Then we would have to get to the front and start really moving. But the pace has been high enough to where we can still see them. But as you can see, the slowdown in the front, that's Florida Velo kind of trying to block because they have one of their guys off the front. So they would just go up to the corner and just ease out of it. And I think I yelled, they're blocking, because we're only doing 22 miles an hour. We should be doing 25, 26. We're usually doing 30 down this stretch too. So there's definitely up front blocking. But like I said, we only have 2 guys to bring back, and they're not that far in front of us. And the speeds that we've been going, I don't think that there's any chance that they're going to stay away. And if worst case scenario, I would go to the front and just do a full lap, just full gas, pull, and just bring them back. Yeah, we're moving pretty good now. the guy to my left in the red jersey, 234, that's Corey McCracken. He used to live in Sacramento area. He used to ride with Mike Sayers on their team. That's where I first met him. He's really fit, riding really strong. I think he got top 3 for sure in the 50 plus. He just aged up this year to 50. Haven't raced with him in about 25 years.
He's walking.
I'm just gonna slide up to the inside here. Take the inside line, just move right up. I think we're coming into 4 to go here. Everybody's starting to get a little antsy, getting towards the finish. I give this guy a little push right here. Oh yeah, we're going, yeah. So he was kind of losing his momentum. I just kind of give him a little push. And I'm going to move up to the front. So actually we're going into 2 laps. We're going into 2 laps to go. There's a big guy right here, 270 on my left. He's his name is Igor. He was from Russia. Big, strong rider. He kind of moves right here, and then I got pushed. I'm like, dude, he just caused a crash because there was like a little mishap behind me from that. And he said, hey, it was your teammate's fault, not mine. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We got 2 laps to go. I'm not going to worry about it now. I'm in a good wheel, though. So I got Bart in front of me, Mark Tucker in front of me. Big Igor makes a great draft. I'm just gonna stay right here. Two to go. Pace is high. It's perfect. It's a lot easier taking this corner when you're in the front. You know, power up the hill here. Try not to get swarmed. That's where everybody tries to move up. But I know that I can move up on the right side here. I usually did that whenever I did want to move up. So I want to get past this guy in the orange because I don't know who he is. He doesn't look like a sprinter. The last thing I want is to get gapped off going up these hills. So, and I know Igor's strong. He's been in the front pretty much the whole race, so. Yeah, this guy keeps like trying to get around me here. It's pissing me off. So I'll just move right past him again. Alright, here we go, going into bell lap. So my plan here was to, as soon as we hit that little power hill, I was going to go right to the front and accelerate up and lead out Bart and Mark and just try to take them all the way to the last turn. But as you can see, Igor's got the same idea, and he's going to take the inside line here and go flying up the side. So I start to go, and then everybody's following him, so I'm just going to slot in behind Bart, protect his wheel. Problem is we're going to catch Jamie and the Florida Velo guy right at the wrong time. So right in front of us there. They can see us coming. Their legs must be cooked a little bit because they're not going very fast. and then Bart does the smart thing here and goes inside. I come into Mark, and then I come into this. Igor goes, he slows down, I don't know why. I get punched off by the Florida Velo guy, and then I had to tap the brakes, and Jamie and Bart are off to the races. And so I've got Igor in front of me, and I got to try to come around him. And this is going to be for third place. So Bart first, Jamie second, Sean third.